and it's gonna say Panthers one union. It's gonna have both of their logos gonna be tied together.
You see this book right here?
I don't see it.
Okay. You don't see it on here at all. Okay, all right, let's try that. Oh shit, that's okay. I see what's going on. Hold up. Let's try that. Okay, this might be.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, let me save it and blow it up for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Yeah, I ain't even never seen nothing like this. This is my first time seeing this. The Mexicans and the Panthers going in. That's a kind of like the.
You gotta realize these Tupac people.
Mongolians.
Both lands is Tupac relatives.
Go ahead.
See what they say, Zampantera?
Yeah.
Negra?
Yeah.
Right. So Zapatismo, Black Panther Party. Right? Scroll down to the bottom. You see that handshake?
Yeah. 2000.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when they made the treaty together to get the imposters off the land.
It's fire.
So you need to know this stuff so y'all know that when I be telling y'all, we've been working behind the scenes trying to get this shit unified at the top so we can tell the grassroots what's going on. Hey, now I'm telling the grassroots and I'm showing the receipts.
After that Mayan calendar date they come out with, the November 2012 thing, when it says that the world gonna end, it's really.
I think it was one day before the discovery of the Higgs boson. I think it was like December 20-something.
Okay, all right. I know there was somebody was saying in 2012. They would say, "Oh, it's gonna happen in 2012." Yeah,
that was the Mayan calendar came to an end to close the age out. It just started all over. They talking about what the Mayan calendar gonna do. Y2K ass shit. It just start to fuck over at the close of the age and reset automatic.
That's right. This shit powerful right here, man. I ain't never seen this right here. I ain't even know we was the Black Panthers connected with another family.
You want to know who else they connected with? Put in Weather Underground. Watch these billies.
Okay, let's do it. Weather Underground.
This is why I tell y'all I don't get into that skin-based shit because these motherfuckers was fighting and going to prison for us, trying to help us out of a condition. They ain't even have to be in our business, but they was out there.
You see the I see the symbol like the W.
Yeah. You see that wanted picture, that wanted poster with the three people?
Yeah,
them was the leaders.
Right here.
Yeah. Them was the leaders. They was all had affiliations with the Black Liberation Army. Right. Then another group we had an allegiance with, I can't think of the name of that motherfucking group. Right. So this was the wanted poster for the Weather Underground. They was leading the underground resistance in the Midwest. They was coming off of a college campus. I don't know if it was the University of Michigan or Michigan State, but they was broadcasting. They had an underground radio station. Back then, instead of hacking onto somebody's social media, you would go and create you a radio station that carries so many blocks, and then you had your little own broadcast. Right, this is what they was doing.
So Malcolm X was doing too. Malcolm X was doing it.
Right, because they understand the power of using the radio back then is like the internet now.
That's right.
Right. Okay, now, go to
they got a couple more slides too on this thing too. You ain't go over like these like I don't know if it's like you going to go over these or not. Like
yeah, because these is castles they converted into prisons. This is where we was going next, because how do you hide a castle from the people who belong in the castle?
Right, turn it into a prison. That make a lot of sense.
Turn it into a prison. This is a castle that was converted into a prison in 1866.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, let's go. Keep going. You might as well go in a row. This is Marquette Prison in upstate Michigan, right? This is supposed to have been built in the 1800s, but you can clearly see that this is around 1300s architecture. The only thing is new is the shingles. They used to be on the top ceramic roof tiles.
Yeah, you can
So
tell.
they took the ceramic roof tiles off, and then they put modernized roofing on here. Probably had leaks or something because it's old as hell.
Yeah. You can tell the brick style laying, the style of how they laid the bricks. If you study architect, you can tell it's like at least between 13 and 1400s.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look at the next one.
All right.
So they turning our prisons in jail. So what do you think they got in store for the royalty on the land?
Right.
Which prison? Okay, which prison? Joliet Correctional Facility. This is a prison, and it was a castle. You can tell it's clearly a castle.
Yeah.
But they converted it into a prison. Joliet Correctional Facility. Go to the next
one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure which one this is. But this is another one of the castles they converted into a prison.
That's a big ass castle.
It's a big ass prison.
Damn.
Everything we built for good, they use for our demise. We got to use.
And that's in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
That's like our stronghold. This was a stronghold for the Moors.
No, fuck the Moors ain't got nothing to do with this. What we talking about now? But wasn't no such thing as a Moor when this was going on.
Okay. So the when we built this, you know, around the time we built it, it's okay. We can say natives. We can say natives for people that don't like the word.
Yeah, because that's who built this shit. That's why it's no records and no slaves building none of these castles.
Yeah. This right here shit is real old, man. You can't tell me this shit ain't at least.
That's why conveniently look. They conveniently keep saying everything is built in the early 1900s after slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's no record of a workforce the size it required building this village. They would have a whole village nearby.
Yeah.
This shit old as hell.
This shit
okay, let's go to the next one.
At least 1200s. Okay. I think that was the last one. Besides the ones that I had already had for you laid out. This prison. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. All right. So, like, could you break down the prison that Bob and Larry Hoover them at? Because it's built like some kind of the Florence. See how it's built like a triangle? Mm-hmm. It's got to be some kind of alchemy. And then they underground and shit.
Listen, I tried to go there in the Astrals, right? It's the most dark and gloomiest shit you can imagine. I couldn't even get through the conjure they got around that motherfucker, and it's all dark.
Yeah, this shit is deep right here. There's two triangles. Actually, they got 3 pyramids shapes right here.
Yeah, most of the modern prisons is built like an X, look like an X from the air. Right. Pull up Ionia Bellamy Creek.
All right, spell that for me.
Ioniia. New word. Bellamy. There you go.
I got it right there. All right, let me save this. Oh yeah, you finna. Hey, you going in, brother? Hey, y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. We're gonna show you brother some love. We dropping his cash app in the links every 5 minutes.
These modern prisons like this one finna show you was designed to be able to drop bombs from the air and know exactly where you hit.
What? Hold on, let me pull that joint up, man. Oh, I just hit it right here. Here we go.
See all of them,
like
the ones shaped like a Y?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those is what you call the dorms. That's where the inmates sleep at.
It's damn sure some kind of alchemy going on there, bro.
You can see it.
They got 4 Ys in an octagon. Then they got like a circle in the middle. It's there. It's automatic alchemy when you start drawing pentagrams. I mean, when you start drawing like your ruins. These are ruins.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Listen to the word. What they trying to do to the people in there?
Ruin them.
Yep.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Look at this shit. And it might be some sexual type alchemy too. The way it's shaped, like with the Y, the Y chromosome. That's the male chromosome. The Y.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be like some kind of this right here is deep right here, man. I'm about to look at this.
That's so they know which buildings they hit from the sky, though.
That's right. They hit the building with the Y. Hit the Y buildings.
Yeah.
Because that's where the people. That's where the inmates hit. So
Then,
I don't want to say it because they don't want to say that, but I caught what you just said though.
so when they lock all the inmates up, you see the square buildings.
Yeah,
that's where the officer's supposed to report to. So in the national crisis, where they have to get rid of the inmate population, they sound the alarm for emergency count, lock all of the inmates in, and then all of the officers will be seen running into the square buildings. And then not long after that, that's when they come through for their airstrike.
And they can run right here in this area right here.
That's for a heliport.
Okay. To get them out of there.
Well, yeah, it depends on what they want to do with them. They go back after the bombing and get survivors. They helivac them to wherever they're going to imprison them after that. But that was an old plan that was scrapped under this new incoming system. Okay, now.
Oh yeah, what about Alcatraz, man? I got that one up there too for you.
Pull it up. Let's look at Alcatraz. Alcatraz is obviously a castle off the coast off the bay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, let me get a better picture. Oh yeah. It's definitely a castle, man. I got a whole bunch of them up here too. These castles that's turning into prisons.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Alcatraz right here. Yeah, you can tell that was a fort. It was a fort.
Mm-hmm. That's what they said. They may turn the military base into a prison, but you got to remember, they're still old as fuck.
Yeah.
Right. So they might say it was a military base, but when did it become the military base is the question.
Yeah.
Because it was probably one of our castles, and we probably had this one where we boat across. When we went to war, we took our whole family, dropped kids off in the South. When we say drop the kids off in the South, we mean from the Texas-Louisiana border all the way into Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we was dropping kids off with Big Mama. That's why all of the plantations had all of the different mixes of kids, because we was coming from all tribes. Right? So this is how they filtered us out and merged in the Mongolian Hun hybrids that they had, and they was using the servants and passed them off as us to sign treaties.
Yeah, it make a lot of sense now. That make a lot of sense.
Right. So Lois and Clark is going to assess the lay of the land. We gotta remember, they went on that expedition because of the Louisiana Purchase. When they get to Louisiana Purchase, they get a land report from the French. From the French land report, they know that all of the people from the land went southeast. We going to fight Gullah Wars.
Oh, see, I didn't even make that connection, but that's what they do in piracy.
Right. Now, this is also being told to us in the public domain with an Admiralty flag.
The
Admiralty flag is, right. The Admiralty flag staked on the land under salvage law of the high seas to pillage the people on the land. Who idea was it? It had to be a pirate.
Who was the best pirates?
The conquistadors.
And who are they? I'm trying because they in the comments dropping who it is.
Conquistadors is Blackamoors and Tawny Moors, right? The Tawny Moors is the figurehead, the front of the Blackamoors. The Blackamoors don't want to be seen, so they put the Tawny Moors up to do their dirt. because they relatives.
Yeah, because Morris is the one who showed them how to get over here.
Now, when you go back to Cortez, what's the first thing Cortez did when he got to South America? Start killing motherfuckers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out the gate, that's an open declaration of war.
Yeah.
Who ended the war?
They did.
Where you find that at? You read anywhere where somebody ended the war?
Nah, they didn't say it ended.
Nobody said it ended. The contract was predicated up on the ceasefire.
Yo, okay. Now that's starting to click. Okay, so you keep going.
So now you have to go to something called the Paris Accord. The Paris Accord is known in the Moorish community as a treaty of peace and friendship. And if you look at the Paris Accord and the motivator for it, what motivated it? It was a ceasefire agreement because the British was robbing the Moors on the high seas when they was returning with wealth that they had captured over here.
Oh, wow.
In turn, the Moors, the conquistadors, was robbing the ships of the British when they got done robbing the other Moors.
Wow.
Right? All this is in the paperwork. This is actually the backstory. They were fighting each other, and they fought to a stalemate. And when you had a stalemate, in order to start over with a new chess game, you both have to see the game is over. Now we got to start with a fresh game. The fresh game is the new contract. The new contract is an agreement between the British and Crown and a corporation called Al Marak. The corporation known as Al Marak headquarters was in a city called Fez. Fez is the capital, or one of the major cities, I should say, of modern day Morocco. But modern day Morocco wasn't Morocco before the 50s. What was it? It was grouped in with Tunisia and I think Algeria or Algiers as what they call Al-Maghrib. Right? The problem that they have, they already got kicked out of Africa. Now Europe is kicking them out of Europe. They need somewhere to go. Right? Now, their offspring can be seen. Tip, prime example. Right? You can look at his history because the Arabs is the initiators of the transatlantic slave trade in the sacking of African villages to get what they called black labor. They called it black labor because anybody that's classified as a slave mean they have a debt. And debt equals slavery equals death. So you become blackened by being captured under the rules of war.
Yeah. And yeah, I keep telling people we were prisoners of war. The Indians were just prisoners of war. They couldn't have killed all
right. So the whole time since 1492 to 2012, we've been in a perpetual state of warlock. When you locked in war, you don't have access to your wealth. So they created the fiat to put levies and liens against the estate of the POWs. Right. Under the idea that they're never going to realize that they are the actual heirs to the estates that we are holding hostage. They're not going to realize that. And at the close of the age, had they not come to the realization that this they shit, they forfeit for lack of a claim. Right? Because at the close of the contract, all debts is due in the following Jubilee year, 2022.
Now, is the go around with that is the fact that they didn't give proper disclosure, or would you say they gave disclosure? We were just looking in the wrong places for the disclosure.
They've been telling us the whole time exactly what they was doing to us, but it was coded. We didn't know how to read the code, and that's why they had to make sure that they constantly reiterate ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you don't know the code, nigga, go learn it.
That's what they didn't want us reading.
Right. Now, the other reason they didn't want us reading is because if we ever figure out what a legal dictionary is, a medical dictionary, and an etymology dictionary, we are going to have the blueprint to unlocking the entire puzzle. Right? So, when the leadership that's organic to the land is held in indisposed, that means that they can't walk the land as free men and exercise their jurisdiction. Right? If they can't exercise the jurisdiction, they have to call forth the next available chief to look at the problem and see if he can figure it out. Hey, man, I need you to come over here and look over this legal work because I'm seeing something, but I can't quite make out what I'm looking at. Right? So then we go through a series of passing the problem around to different chiefs. This goes back to Noble Drew Ali saying in the Old Statements and Prophecies, I'm going to leave these people in power long enough for y'all to learn how to run a government. When you understand in the legalese, the deceptive language of legalese, and how it is cross-referenced with etymology, and how it is also cross-referenced with medicalese, you cross these languages, and then you unlock the colloquial language, the common language. In this case, is American English. If we was in London, it would be the Queen's English. It's a different English, but they both English. Right? Now, we don't just, the authority on what we call colloquial modern English is Noah Webster's dictionary. That's the authority. The authority for the Queen's English is the Oxford University Dictionary. Right? And the Hans Word Dictionary of Etymology is the encyclopedic dictionary set that they never want you to get your hands on. Now you look at the price of the book. Is that the
one that's crazy? Yeah, that's the one that's crazy expensive.
Yeah. When you look at the price of the books, anything that will accelerate our learning and seeing the problem is priced out of our reach. We can't afford that money. Right? The average person don't have the time because they keep us occupied with trifles, with trivials, and they keep us emotionally masturbated for the ones that's righteous enough to stand up to the enemy. They gave us something called religion. So Noble Drew Ali wrote in the Circle 7 about a religious controversy. So that was my warning not to get into religious controversy with anybody because it's dogma. Which takes me to Albert Pike. Albert Pike is the one who generated the dogma for the Red Lodge, Scottish Rite, 32 Degrees, Honorary 33rd, masquerading as the founding father that we call George Washington. The real George Washington was born in Barbados.
I was gonna say,
the fraud is allegedly born either in Virginia or France, depending on which angle they want to send you on. He's born in both places, according to their records. In France, they called him Adam Weishaupt. You know him as the founder of the Bavarian Illuminati. But when he's over here, we call him Albert Pike. Now, the pike is a fish. Right? This is a code. Because they told, the so-called Christ told his disciples, I will make you fisher of men.
Right.
In order to catch fish, you need hooks. So King James said, watch the letter J. Because it used to be straight. Now it's a hook.
Now it's got a hook.
The funny thing about it is James is Ionis in its original form, Latin, but when you translate it into English, it becomes James, but the definition of it in the original language is fish.
Wow.
It's also the same James Jones, which is Jonas or Jonas.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas is like saying more than one fish. It's a plural. Right? So when you start looking at these things, you're like, wait. This is not right. This is incorrect. So then he'll say, hey, I'm going to call a couple of my brothers over here and see if they see what I'm looking at. Because this can't be what I'm looking at, because if this is what I'm looking at, it's telling me a particular direction that somebody is coming at us. It's a warning.
Right.
Right? The side effect of the religious controversy is another chapter called misery. Misery is the thing that keeps us from seeking the liberation. Because we would rather be comfortable under control of somebody else than to be temporarily uncomfortable to be under our own control.
And having to fend for ourselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now we face with the dilemma. Upset the peace to establish justice and be uncomfortable for a period of time in order to give your descendants eternal comfort. Or go along to get along and wait till they fall apart and hope that you get something out the deal. Them the only two positions. So from what I was looking at, I said, if I make the claims, all I got to do then is start having the different chiefs on the land come look at this. Hey, the contract is up. Now, the only way this contract not up is two ways. They held up every part of the agreement, which we know they never held up a single part. We can't find a treaty that's ever been honored because all of them is in litigation as we speak. It wouldn't be in litigation had they been honored.
Right.
So now that gives us what we call superior claim on the contract. The only problem is we have to figure out how do we apply superior jurisdiction in order to secure a superior claim. We have to follow the laws of nature and go back to our original culture. They gave us a remedy in their system during the life of the contract. But when the contract expired, the remedy expires with it. So they never honored it, which means that I can close the contract out at any time I become aware in my life that the contract is predicated up on fraud, deception, and the theft of the wealth of the nations, and that the intentions is never to honor the contract. The last one, the intention to never honor the contract, becomes self-evident. That means it presents its own self as evidence based off consistent actions from the occupier to never honor a single contract. If they've never honored one, they continuously make them, they never honor them, but they always hold us to them. That means that they never had any intentions of honoring any other contracts. Right? It proves itself. You don't have to prove it.
Right.
Show me the contract they upheld. Right? Nobody never foreclosed on the first contract. Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Right? Now, this is what's upsetting to the Moors that didn't understand what me and Taj was talking about completely. Because Noble Drew Ali the contract was in 100% effect. So he gave us both the remedy and the solution at the same time. Right?
He's the one that was teaching everybody about the 1099s, right? I'm not saying it was him, but
well, he didn't take it that far. Right? What you get with the Moorish literature is that's all he got. Anything else is in the Moorish newspapers that's now almost impossible to find unless you go find them on microfilm in the old library. But there used to be a daily Moorish newspaper that the Moorish Science Temple put out, or the Moorish Temple of Science used to put out under Noble Drew Ali. Those are been defunct. They've been closed down. There was also a group of Black Star Press had a newspaper that came out. I think his was weekly under the UNIA. In a lot of those you still have to go to microfilm to find them, but they're there. Right? And so, but the Moorish literature is telling us how to navigate the contract until we in a position to run the government and claim the contract and overthrow the government, the imposter government. It's not our shit. Right? They holding us in under admiralty jurisdiction. They holding us under salvage rights. And they listing us as the property of the landmass that crashed into their ship. The claim is preposterous on its face.
They list that's
right,
what Malcolm was saying was the Plymouth Rock. We
right.
land on Plymouth Rock. You know.
Yeah. So now, if it's ridiculous on its face, all we have to do, one of us, walk in there and say, "Hey, that's ridiculous. That don't even apply." Nobody did it because nobody knew it was going down. It didn't happen over here. It's called the Paris Accord because it wasn't signed over here. It was signed in Paris.
Right.
Now notice, in Paris, you got the Eiffel Tower. It's a homonym. The name of the city of Paris is Parthodon of Isis, or Par-Isis for short, or even shorter is Paris. That means it's the city of Isis. Right? So now when we go, that's telling us to go back and look at the Isis story. Who fell? Osiris. Osiris fell at the hands of who? Set. Just Enki and Enlil.
I was just about to say that's the same exact story.
Just Enki and Enlil.
Right.
Right? So now Horus becomes Tahuti. Because he is the firstborn of the earthborn, parthogenic son of Isis. And that's what made them call her Mary, the rebellious woman. Because she went on about her business and made a male child without consulting with the masculine figures who wanted to subjugate her and her daughters. And he would be the champion of the mother and the sisters, and be the firstborn of the earthborn, parthogenic male sons of the women of the earth. So when you see Tahuti, he's coming just to get the women back their shit. He don't want nothing. The women gonna take care of what they need to take care of, and Tahuti is just gonna facilitate. So I'm facilitating my ass off.
Tahuti thought.
Right? Now all of the codes, they tell you Isis, but the character should be Moses. When they tell you Moses, the character should be Isis. That's what we don't get. The Isis character in the New Testament, the name Isis is Jesus. I-E-S-O-U-S. Right? But if you don't know that the contract is a riddle, and the riddle, right, is a key to the kingdom. And the kingdom is the kingdom that comes at the closing of the age, the last days. Right? In order for this to be effectuated, you have to be a Melchizedek priest. Well, I'm a graduate Melchizedek priest under Malachi Z. York. Right? As a Melchizedek priest, now I can exercise the rights of the priesthood to claim every priesthood. Right? So now I need a political degree. That means I had to get a law degree without getting a degree. I had to learn enough law to get a degree, but don't get the degree. I don't need the paper. I need the knowledge. Right? Now, once I got the priest degree, and then I got the law degree, right? Now, all I need is the understanding of the workings of the tribe and the family. The leader of the family is the KNG. No vowels in there. Notice that.
No I.
No vowels. KNG. No vowels. Because when you transliterate it, you got to add vowels according to Grimm's Law of Grammar. Now, in Grimm's Law of Grammar say all vowels are interchangeable in translation and transliteration, right? So now I look at the word KNG, most people see king. I see Congo.
No vowels. So yeah, okay, gotcha.
Right. So when I add the vowels in, I added 2 O's. Right? Kongo. Everybody else they selfish.
Think about that.
So all they're gonna put in there is an I. King. You ain't gonna get there because the key is the Congo key. Every landmass have a Congo. But most of us don't know this because we need to see ancient maps in order to know it. The average person is never going to see an ancient map in their lifetime. So we can't expect them to figure it out. So Big Mama going to have to pick a son, one of her boys, whose only job it is to figure this shit out. And then between Big Mama and Mama, they going to put him in the condition where all he can do is learn the required lessons of how to read the culture to find the problem.
Right.
And sometimes it requires you to be put in prison for a while. What you going to do with it? They throw you in there. You can't escape the time. It's going to be there. Even if you escape the prison, they going to come find you, lock you up, and give you more time on top of that, and make sure you don't escape no more. You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later they're going to chop your ass down because you can't outrun the long arm of the law.
Right.
This is what they tell us. Right? So you get 2 options. Study the problem until you figure it out, or run for it. Run, Forrest, run. Right? And so here we are, those who don't know me and don't know how sincere I am. I want all our people to get all of their shit. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. But if they want us and they got a nickel somewhere and 2 pennies, I want them to have their nickel and 2 pennies, not because I just want them to have it. It's their shit. I think everybody got a right to their own shit that they already earned. Right? So even if they don't agree with me, I don't care. If you got something coming, I want you to get whatever the fuck you got coming. Good, bad, or indifferent. Right? So when we get done putting the statuses in the public domain, what do you mean, Rod? All it is this simple. You go on your social media so you can have the time, dated, and stamp.
I got a funny story about that because you told me this. You put it on your page like a few months back, talking about just post this, write your name in this little blank section and put it on your IG. And I'm like, man, that shit too simple. But I do know
African proverbs say
he was doing that back on Facebook a minute ago. Like, no, I do not agree to this. You just putting it on public record that you don't agree to. Maybe a new law that dropped or whatever. Now,
all of the women over 50, specifically those are seniors, 65 and older, need a representative in the family. That means if you about your business, right? Everybody got a sister or a cousin that know that paperwork, how to keep business stuff in order, right? The eldest female that the most of the people in the family can trace back to that's still living is the heir. All of the wealth is always coming through the motherland. But the right to reign as the alpha male comes through the fatherland. In the only way, that's why you got to have both the blood and the rights. Because before, the people without the blood stole the rights. So now you need the blood.
That's what they were showing. You ever watched that show? Lovecraft Country? That's what they were showing in there, how they basically stole. They ain't had the bloods, but they stole our rights, our lands, our magic. I don't know.
Now, okay, Lovecraft Country. Go to how they did it. They stole the family's grimoire. It's the family's book of life. It tells you who is who in the family. And they have clues in there how to recognize them when they come back.
That's why they've been looking for the Messiah.
They know where he at. The day he born, they know he being born. They already know from the stars and the alignment.
Okay.
Certain people born, all of the stars align in order to tell a story of who this individual will become if he makes it to maturity. That's how they kept killing the chiefs off as children. That's why they made what we call black on black crime so prevalent in the community, because they ain't allowed to kill us, but guess what? They can put us up to kill us. They can put me up to come do something to you for their benefit. As long as I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna follow through with it because I'm a ride or die motherfucker like that. But soon as I find out, hey, wait a minute, that's my brother. Who is these niggas? Now I'm the problem. I'm the worst nigga. I questioned these niggas and nobody else was doing it. Right? I'm the problem now. So I'm not going to participate in their games, and I step back and say, I don't want no parts of it. And then all the other chiefs saying, hey, we need some help with this problem. And you just sitting there. What you going to do? Right? Because all of the chiefs is on deck. There's nobody that's not involved in this shit. Whether you know it or you don't know it, you either part of the problem, part of the solution. There is no middle ground. You either one of the righteous or you one of the wicked. You either part of the motherfucking wheat or you the motherfucking chaff. There ain't nothing in the middle. Ain't nothing in the middle.
Facts, yeah.
I don't give a fuck what your skin like, how tall you is, how fat you is. I don't care if your nose run all day, if you got red eyes, green eyes, blue eyes. It don't fucking matter.
Right.
It's only two positions on the board. The right position and the wrong position. I don't want to be on the wrong position. And anybody that's willing to be righteous in the right position, I'm all with that. I'll teach you everything you fucking want to know. And if I don't know it, because I don't know everything, but I ain't that smart as I might seem to some people. I just study harder than everybody else. Doing backflips using my mother's inner uterus as a springboard.
I believe.
I remember hearing my mama telling my daddy, this is going to be a good badass boy here. He monkey flipping all up and down in my stomach. I can't tell nobody that. That's insanity to the regular people.
Well, you know, for a lot of people, Brother Rod, though, I used to say this even when I was still preaching, that there's a scripture that talks about, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I ordained you a prophet to the nations. And I think it was Jeremiah. And I always told that was just a prototype for everybody who was, before they were formed, they were known and they had an assignment that they were supposed to fill. I said, but once you make that decision and say, look, okay, I'm ready, I'm going to go down, that man, that woman come together, that spark, then I'm going to inhabit that body that's formed from that. Then I said, you float around for maybe 9 months, because I've had preemies, but 9 months in the amniotic fluid, which I would call amnesia juice. I said, and while you in the amnesia juice, you forget what your assignment is, and so your so-called life.
That's how I discovered how to erase our memory.
Right. So your life is one of trying to remember. He said, when you come into your kingdom, remember me, reconnect me to my purpose, to myself. And was it you who said that the lights they throw in your face are like the white that the men in black do? Right.
Now, look, I thought I was crazy when I first seen this, right? Because I seen them when I came out, I seen the bright lights, and I remember immediately being dumbfounded, what they call blinded by the light, dumbfounded by all these bright ass lights in my face. And it triggered a reaction, and it brought in all my prior births. There was no lights. When I was born before, I was always born to doulas under controlled conditions. This is the first time I was born under the rule of an enemy who was uncontrolled of the conditions, and I wasn't in the ambient lit growing up. But as you get more recall of your past lives, you start remembering this stuff. And I was like, that's the major anomaly. And then I keep hearing people say, don't go into the light. And then I remember before you born, there's no light to go into. Right? When you die, there's no light to go into. You don't see the light till you come out of the delivery.
Till you come out of the womb, of the matrix. You come
Right.
out of the
So they
matrix.
saying that it's right. So when they saying that don't go into the light, those are modern birthing hospital rooms. They saying abort the baby. The baby should abort itself up on birth if you see those lights, because you under the control of the enemy. But they not understanding that these lights is not part of the life-death cycle. When you really fade off, you see from a higher consciousness level everything. You're not blinded with no lights. Ain't no lights. But you see the child being born that you're gonna come back in. You're not coming back immediately when you leave most of the time. But when the child in the future that you're going to come through is being born, you seeing the life of that child. And you are having options of several timelines that this child should be born on. So when they're telling you don't go into the light, they're saying avoid the birth that you're going to come back into the light. Because if you come back in the light, you know that the enemy is on the other side acting like they doctors.
Wow. Well,
Right?
many a child has come into the light.
Hoover and the midwife.
Right.
Right. Go back to the warning about the light. Where is it most famous from? Poltergeist.
Yeah. Carol Ann.
Carol Ann, go into the light. There's peace and tranquility in the light. Right? Now, all the time, demons is trying to get Carol Ann, and the witch is telling her to go into the light. Now, flip it in reverse.
So now, let me see. Is your I don't know, your voice is breaking up, and
telling her to go.
Yeah, we're getting you like
into the light.
You're breaking up.
While her to go into the light.
Yeah.
Your
sound is breaking.
Your screen.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Yeah, they're putting it in the, because I can hear you breaking up too. So I'm not sure if
you want me to go out and come back in.
Try that. Just see if we can get a better. Please. Thank you all. Thank you for your patience. Let's see what's going on. Oh, we up in here, 1,200 strong, y'all. Hope y'all pressing that like, giving us the thumbs up. I hope you're sharing. If you don't, at least share it after it's over. But Brother Rod's going to come back in, and I hope you are appreciating this sort of in-depth look into the brother that's been bringing us all of this information here. He's back. Let's hope that the sound is better. All right, Brother Rod, let's see what we got.
We getting the improvement?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, from what I'm looking at, you totally black. So the audience should tell me if your screen is black, or if we can see Dr. G.
Okay. Do you all see me? Put a 1 in there. Somebody put a 1 in the chat if you see me. No, I don't. Anybody see me? Did not see it. Can you hear me? Ask you, do you see me? Because I know when we first came on, you were saying you couldn't see me, Brother Robert. I see me. Oh yeah, they see me. They got 1s all in there. Thank you. So
okay.
Believe me, I'm here.
They can see you.
They can see me. They can see you too. Okay. So let's go back to this, because this is so interesting. Let's go back to this birth process and the light and all that, because this is fire, y'all. This is fire.
Right. So go back to when you start
wait a minute. Somebody says they only see me and not you. Wait a minute. If you see Rod, anybody see us both? If you see, you're looking good. So if you see us both, put a 2 in the.
I can see you now, Dr. G.
You see me?
You just came.
All right.
You just
probably see me too. Matt. Okay. All right. Somebody said a young guy on TikTok. Where'd I go? Here we go. I'm gonna push this up. You'll see this. a young guy on TikTok using gematria somehow matched Rod Hayes to Lucifer. So that's a good thing. Well, that means a lot.
Hey, look. So the Lucifer effect, right? The Lucifer effect. Don't nobody know what it is, but it's written in all of the occult mysteries.
Okay.
The Lucifer effect is the ability to be able to read the creation from above and from below simultaneously. That's all it is. It ain't nothing else. Take all that spookism, mysteryism, all that out of it. That means that you just got the ability to see clearly from the spiritual into the physical and vice versa.
Okay.
It's called mirror flipping. As above, so below. What's written in the stars manifest on the ground if you know how to read them. But if you don't know how to read them, it's gibberish and nonsense.
Right. But okay, so back to you for anybody that's just tuned in. So you were talking about the birth, your birth, remembering this last birth, because you know that you've also talked about seeing remembering other incarnations.
Yes.
And seeing, when do you see future births?
I'm barred from seeing the future, so I don't change it.
Okay.
Right,
So
because I change it to anytime I.
Where'd he go, y'all?
Somebody just called me. Dr. G might have to go out and come back in.
Y'all stop calling him. He's online. So
can you hear me clear?
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So so you said you would change it if you. I
would always change it for the collective to have the most functional future possible. If I could see the future, I automatically switch the timeline. But then that would be what you call averting the work required to change it correctly, which will cause a wrinkle in time that can't be compensated for.
Well, since we know that timelines are not not so much as like chronological, but maybe multi-dimensional, or these other lives maybe other dimensional lives, just like you talked about, the Mandela effect, or these other lives that you remember, might you be living them out, at the same time? May they be, are we talking about lives that have literally passed and gone and not connected anymore to what you're doing? Oops, you froze. Can you hear me? I tell you, we talking good and they messing us up. You know what this is? You come in. You know what this is, y'all? Because the knowledge that's being shared is to take away the spookism. It's taking away the spookism and the fear that even this kind of stuff, they don't want it to get out because they want to keep us in fear. They don't want us to be in knowing. They don't want us to be able to, go boldly into whatever battles we need to go to, knowing that, we are spirit and, we are souls that live forever. They want you to have that same mentality that we've been indoctrinated with in Christianity. Can you hear me, Rod? I'm just trying to fill in the space.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you froze, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go. Just trying to keep it going.
Yeah. So one of my past lives being born, I remember in antebellum New Orleans, being born, and the room was only lit with candles. The whole room was a whole bunch of candles. That was it. And it had a chandelier, so I know they had lighting. But the chandelier wasn't on, but it was candles all around the room. And it was an elderly, dark-skinned lady and a younger, bright Creole woman that was the doula and the birth maiden. Because you always have to have one with you in training so the knowledge can be shared most effectively by osmosis. This is why we used to use apprenticeships over job training. Because when you do an apprenticeship, you get the hands-on experience from some of the best teachers possible, the experts on the job.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do hands-on training, they just teach you the steps, but they don't teach you how to compensate for little intricacies that come up as problems on the job where you don't have to call a whole army of people to fix it. Right? But following that principle in the streets today, like if you go to LA,
Why are they freezing you? Can you hear me, Rod?
And you tell them that you a Crip blood, they're gonna say, well, where you put your work in, who your witnesses. That means that all of the chiefs always have a witness to.
Okay, y'all, we having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I'm sure he'll dial back in. Are you enjoying this? I know you are. I am. I'm absolutely enjoying this interview. So let me see. Where are you, Rod? Nope, you're right. They don't want this information out because it is absolutely critical even to us, our empowerment, for us to go to that higher level together. We have to also go to a higher level individually. And when we can get rid of the fear of, here it comes, let me get you back in. There you are. All right.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know why. I mean, you said, I guess this is too powerful.
Well, so
you're
at this
saying
point,
you go to LA about the Crips, and that's what.
yeah. So they always ask you who a witness to your work in order to solidify what your status is on the land. That's different from the mainstream cultural norm. So the culture that we use is somebody always have to be a witness that you about what you say you about, that you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do the way you said you was gonna do it. So they call that a witness to your work. Every step of the way, I'm one of the most scrutinized people when I look back on the history, because I done been under review since I was, look, when my mama used to go to all these different churches and tents and trailer parks and basements, when I remember being an iron baby, and she passed me around to all these old ladies. They be old as hell. Some of them dip snuff, and they be saying, oh yeah, Shady, it's the one right here. I don't know what they talking about, but I can still remember they chatter.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
know,
he's like, you've been under evaluation since you came out the gate.
right. And it wasn't until in the last 3 years of doing this work, I realized that I couldn't even be here if somebody didn't conjure me up. I have to be conjured up to come into the physical world by a group of people. One tribe cannot conjure me up. All of the tribes have to agree, because they don't know how I'm gonna behave when they conjure me up. And so they have to put me through cycles of training to temper my temperament so that I can have enough self-control to be useful. Otherwise, I'd be useless to the collective, and I'd be useful to some tyrants. Right?
So when you decided to do what you were doing, to take it on like you have, with your whole heart and soul into this, it was it back in 2008 when you came? Or because personally, I just discovered you this year. Video popped up, and it was this year, and I was like, who is this man? And I said, he's a record keeper. Remember when I first? And so I tried to contact you, or I wanted to contact you, and then I said, I'm gonna interview him one day, and then you saw Grand Sheik and I doing a live in the park, and you reached out, and then I didn't believe it was you. But I'm just saying, I'm like, where'd he come from? But you didn't just start doing this, obviously. But
No.
when did folks start noticing you, that from your perspective, the way you're noticed now?
Over the last 3 years, mostly, but there were certain people in certain places who knew where I've been and what I've been doing since birth.
Okay.
Been getting reports every step of the way. When I make mistakes, I don't let other people pay for my mistakes. That was a rare quality, but none of them believed that I was ready because they didn't realize.
Got you blocked. I mean, break it up again. And it could be your internet. Maybe it's the speed on your phone. Can you hear me? It'll be back there, y'all. Yeah, I know why. I know why. I know why. I know why. And you would think we were saying something wrong and something crazy, but what we're saying is true. What we're saying is empowerment, and that's the problem. You, where you at? You back, Rod? You were back. Can you hear me? Okay, he's going to come back in. I see where Paul Wright L wrote, why is it so important to free Larry Hoover respectively, and why is he, sorry about that with the noise in the background, a big part of things. Can you explain? Well, he can explain when he comes back, but from what, if you've ever heard him speak on it, free Larry Hoover, he said, it's like a battle cry. It's not just, while there is importance about, okay, let him tell you. Brother Rod, there's a question that and I'm just going, even though we're talking about you, but can you explain this for those who've never heard you explain? Why is it so important to free Larry Hoover, respectively? Why is he a big part of things? Can you explain? Please explain.
Yeah, I don't have no problem with that. It's not just Larry Hoover.
That's what I was getting ready to say. That's a battle cry, a rallying cry.
Right. So when we got the 7.4 earthquake in New Mexico, they asking me in a series of exchanges of what we call knocks to knockbacks. The Galactic Council asked me for my leader because of the work that they seen me doing. They want to know who it is that I'm up under, who is the leader of the clan that I'm in, because I made all of the successful moves to reclaim our inheritance from the enemies. So when they ask me who I follow, who is my leader, I have to give them my clan leader. I can't give them no politicians because they're not our real leaders. I can't give them none of those corporate big hats because they're not our real leaders either. I can't give them a celebrity. I have to give them somebody that's from the land organically, who walked the same path as me before me, who may not be who people want him to be, but he is who he is to us as a people. The same way the free Larry Hoover, it also equally applies to Asada Shakur, the one formerly known as H. Rat Brown, Malachi Z. York, Chief Malik Angel Bay, formerly known as Jeff Ford, Black Keystone Nation, Stan Tukey Williams, who we believed was put to death, but was actually put in cryostasis at Area 51. The only person that I would accept that wasn't one of us, that was one of us, that was seen in the public on a regular basis was Farrakhan. Because when I did the science to trace back who the matriarch was, I ended up with Mother Khadijah. Using the rules of the land applied on the things that's operating on the land, I have to find the highest ranked matriarch in order to know how to restore our people. If we can't find her, then we don't know how to read the signs effectively enough to know the difference between the imposters on the land and our own people. Well, I clearly seen who she was. Farrakhan has the evidence and the verification proof, and he already presented it, and it's already been verified that all of the stuff that I said was accurate. So when they asked me for my leader, the only person I can give them, being that ever since I was, all of my cousins in my age group that I grew up with from in Chicago, I didn't live in these three cities. Is Grand Rapids, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, one spot, and learn the culture. The culture is all across the land, but you have to be exposed for a period of time to be able to assimilate this piece. Also, before I went to prison, I lived in Mississippi. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. I lived in Seaford, Delaware. I lived in Newark, New Jersey, New York, right? I had to traverse the land, and a lot of these trips from these places was by bus, Greyhound. So here I am. riding a Greyhound across the land and surveying the land, right? And so these, to me, these are translatable signs that other people that's listening that know how to read signs can translate, right? And so when they ask why is Larry Hoover relevant to our struggle, is because he was taken from us, a leader that we picked on the land ourselves. The government didn't pick Larry Hoover for the people. The people picked Larry Hoover, and the government rejected him and rebelled against the choice of the people. The same with Chief Malik Angel Bay, right? And it's a whole list of leaders in our communities that was being picked by the people, that was ruthlessly hunted down by a government operation called COINTELPRO, right? COINTELPRO is short for Counterintelligence Program, and the goal was to stop anybody, one of us with the capability, which everybody I named was capable, but it's one problem. You can't be a bond servant and redeem the land. You can't be in prison and call yourself the chief because you're under somebody else's subjugation. That means you are in a foreign jurisdiction. You can't give orders if you're in a foreign jurisdiction on your own land. That means you've been conquered. So me being the next in line saying, hey, if we gonna do what's right, we gonna unilaterally do what's right. Or I don't want to do it. I don't want to do half of what's right or a piece of what's right. I want to do the whole thing, change the whole thing to correctness, or I don't want anything to do with it. Right? So it's not just free Larry Hoover. That's just the condensation of all our complaints. The adrenochrome harvesting, the women trafficking, the sex trafficking, the children, the kidnapping the children, the selling us for in the open market using our birth certificates, trading bonds. All this has to stop in order for us to ever see true prosperity and a new golden age on earth. And because my give a fuck meter don't move, for lack of a better way of putting it, I don't care enough about the enemy's well-being to not take them off our land. Whereas some people become so familiar in associations with the enemy that they don't care to remove them from the land, from taking food out of our babies' mouths. You don't have to agree with me. I'm still gonna fight for you. Because the universal laws say you got a right to believe whatever you want. You got a right to think whatever you want. Be you right or wrong, that's your right. I can't take that from you. That's inalienable. Because if you didn't have the right to think what you want to think, then your thoughts wouldn't be enclosed in your own self-head. They would be on public display at all times for the random person to come through and change them. But that's not the case. So you got a right to believe what you want to believe. You don't have to agree with me. I'm just going to tell the truth until everybody understands from frequency and vibration and verification of receipts. So don't believe me, check the receipt. Argue with the receipt, don't argue with me. That's my philosophy. The receipt's on the record. Been building up for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, and in the fullness of time or at the right time, that's when I came across you. I wasn't supposed to, I'm assuming, until now. And so it's a good thing. Have you ever, you mentioned the Galactic Federation. I received a call from a sister, and I was supposed to be reaching out to you. I'm sorry. I apologize, rather, to the sister who was a part. Have you ever heard of the Committee of 300?
Yeah.
So she
Committee of 300.
Yeah. So it's sort of, it's I believe, from what I got, it is sort of galactic in its origin, and she is a part of it. And so, she watches. I know she might have seen it, might be on here, I'm not sure. But when she first reached out to me, it was like the committee is trying to figure out who you are, and she kind of wanted to have a conversation with you. But I was wondering if you were familiar with that.
Oh.
Maybe she was selected to be part of the Committee 300.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
First and foremost, because I had some of the most prominent
drop them in the chat, man. We're gonna take about 10 to 15 minutes worth of questions, man. I think it's right here with some heavy duty shit, man. You just gave me a whole bunch of shit. I could write a book on just what you put on, what you gave me today. I could go do more research and put a book together called The Holographic Reality.
I got some more to it. We ain't get to.
We'll do part 3. We'll do a part 3.
Okay.
Back free again. Let's see what they got. Hey, if you got any questions, drop them in the chat for the ride. Yeah.
So as you can see, the game of life is the game of the gods. The game of the gods is played in the holographic universe.
Yeah.
The holographic universe produces the earth realm.
Yeah.
The earth realm is where we experience light. The rules say we have to be synced to the earth and come in with amnesia and remember who we are. The little girl told you it was thousands of us around the world scattered out in order to raise the vibration and the frequency of the planet. So now remember, I was showing you on the solar storm how the UV rays interact with the Earth's electromagnetic field. This generates what's known as the Schumann resonance.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be restored to the Schumann resonance, which is the right resonance. So if you go to Google and you look up Schumann, it's going to show you the canopy of the sky over the Earth. Right? That's the right frequency, the A tone. So as we all make an atonement for the dirt we did, then it automatically reattunes the earth back to the A tone, which is the atonement of the earthborn in the redemption process to recover earth from those who can't stay here because they violated the cosmic law and created something known as the great debauchery. And in the process of cleaning up the great debauchery, we collected galactic points of suffering the motherfucking bottom of the barrel shit to build up something called pre-karma. Pre-karma is the points that we created by our suffering, being the firstborn of the earthborn, in order to see those who had less come into their own and be able to achieve more. So we passed the God gene to the God creation because God created something they ain't had no business doing because they didn't have the prime creator permission, nor did they have the permission of the queen of heaven and earth. So now they come into our community to get their drop of blood, but they got to get it by any means necessary, even at the tip of the sword. So the Shriners come in 32 degrees Scottish Rite on the challenge Fez versus Feathers under George Washington Masonic order to put us in the warlock. So now that we can't in the warlock, we can't access our coffers, we hold our wealth. But in order to break free from the warlock, one of us got to break free from the slumber, come up from under the sleep, build themselves as the perfected man, master of masters, the self-raised master. Hiram Abiff's rage, the motherfucking Masonic Lodge, all motherfucking lodges bump straight. And then 45 come in because he come in off of ACP. Now that's a military firearm, right? Which is in modern times a Desert Eagle, but the Desert Eagle is a 50 cal. And a 50 cal will blow a hole in your ass big enough to walk through. If you think bullshit, watch what the 45 do. Because the 45 will leave a hole in your ass and leave you leaking for days. So when the 45 land, that's the Desert Eagle on the return in the Air Force One off of a Raven Rock knock to a knockback, zigzag zig, all the chiefs across the land is rocking this bitch from motherfucking hand to hand. We done with the bullshit. Now it's time to unload a full clip on a Gangstar flip off of a guru. And the guru is a teacher. And the teacher is the master teacher on the Malachi York knock to a knockback off a speaker. And the speaker is Minister Farrakhan, who has Aaron in his name, but y'all didn't ever catch that because y'all don't know the code. Because the minister named him Farrakhan Muhammad, not Louis Farrakhan, but y'all can't get it right because he was the charmer. So he was so busy charming y'all, he ain't stopped y'all from calling him Louis. Because Louis XIV was instrumental in the European rebellion, but y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all too busy trying to drink Louis XV wine, right? So now that we in the club and we hanging late night, motherfuckers doing these line dances. Now we capture the conjure. We capture the conjure to send the energy back to Mother Earth that the old ones has returned. As Empress Verdiasi say, the ancient ones, the return of the ancient ones. And how you gonna know when the guys are standing before you? Because they're gonna experience a different lifestyle that's gonna allow them to show you how to shine in the public. By using exceptional brilliance and overwhelming intellect, they'll be able to connect the dots across the celebrity circles to the politician, bring out the dirty players and expose them motherfuckers for who they is, tell you what's going on behind the scenes without being behind the scenes, sitting here watching it play out, understanding the land and how to read the culture. Once you understand how to read the culture, then you know who the culture vultures really is. But the vulture is the condor, and the condor is fearless. He don't give a fuck. But he fucked around and stayed too long, and the eagles then came home. Now they wondering why the chickens is coming home to roost, because it's time to collect the bounty. Because when Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, none of the king's horses and none of the king's men could put poor Humpty back together again. That's pure wasted potential. But if you can figure out how to unscramble the scrambled eggs, all you need is a possibility, and I'm going to take the chance. Because if I can take the chance and we can all dance Mardi Gras across the land from motherfucking Maine to goddamn Arizona, from Alaska to Florida, zigzag zig, X marks the spot. We home now, motherfucker. We back for every fucking thing they owe. No longer oppressed. That's why we overthrow those that placed us in this rotten mess with their motherfucking dirty ass games that they was playing. We talking dirty Moors. We ain't talking righteous Moors. Because in the Feather versus the Feds is the Bays win this bitch. Right? Because it was Bays versus the L's. Because the L's said they was lawgivers, and King George III instituted the Bar Association in 1863 in Savannah, Georgia. So we know who was behind the barristers the whole time, the black nobility, aka the goddamn white man that ain't even white, that look like us, but they ain't us. That's why they call us lichens, because we look like kin, but we ain't. We just wear the wolves. That's why they call us werewolves. But there's some blood-sucking, adrenal cream drinking motherfuckers. But since we know who's who and what's what, it's time to shut this motherfucker up. So let's go to the audience and see if we got some questions out.
Yeah, we got a question that said, well, let me see, damn, I got too many comments out there. He said, how can artificial supplements help the natural body?
So look, the artificial supplements is not necessarily from an artificial source. It's just that the source was refined in order to extract the part that you can supplement with, because the food is being grown using artificial means. So they have to extract supplements from other locations, sometimes toxic sources that you couldn't take in this free form, but they can get the vitamin or the mineral out, and you can take it without having the negative side effect of consuming the toxin. So the artificial supplement, keep in mind, it's not really artificial.
To me, that's really, when you look at how you're breaking everything down, there's really no such thing as artificial.
Well, it becomes artificial when you assemble it from scratch. So if I was to go in the lab and take the atomic molecules used to make water and I alter the isotopes, I made artificial water that has a different weight density because of the alteration in the isotope.
I see what you're saying. I was like, official means you legit. You know what I'm saying? It's straight. You know.
Well, the first word of artificial is art.
Yeah, that's right.
Art comes from the creative mind. The creative mind is the mind of God expressed through the hands of man.
So if you are official, that means, nigga, you official with this art. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, because you can reproduce and replicate.
Yeah.
Your words can manifest, your deeds can manifest. So if you can tell a compelling story to inspire deeper thought in somebody else, then you become a master of thought forms. You control thought. You become an instrumental part of the community because your energy changes the way people perceive reality. That's like you explain the rules of the game. You know, when the problem is too big for one, they got to call somebody who can figure the problem out next. If he can't solve it, he got to call next. And then you get to what's called the final solution. The final solution is the final resolution. And the final resolution is the final resolve. And the final resolve is the resolve to get this shit done. Right? And so when we look at how everybody contributed to the art of life, remember, it's in the book, you the salt of the earth, right? In order to be the salt of the earth, you have to have the creative potential expressed. If you look on your screen right now, you got Mick Jagger, you got, I don't know if that's Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah.
And you got that talk show host, Tupac, and then you got old Blue Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
All of them had what's called the spark, the song. We didn't start the spot fire, but the things been burning since the world been turning, right? So we didn't start the fire. The fire is the Promethean flame.
Mm-hmm.
The Promethean flame is the unadulterated intelligence of the gods. Now remember, Prometheus climbed up to Mount Olympus and stole a little bit of the flames.
Mm-hmm.
That means he got a female that was born of the gods to marry and reproduce to give that flame to his seed, his progeny.
Mm-hmm.
Once he gave that flame to his progeny, now he's passed on the wisdom of the gods to his offspring. And wisdom is always justified of her children. Right? Why do they call her? Sophia, Ain Soph, right? From Malkuth to Kephra.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to Kephra, you encounter Ain Soph, Sophia, right? And Sophia is feminine for wisdom, right? Mm-hmm. So if Sophia is wisdom and wisdom is justified of her children, they're talking about the queen's chamber in the brain. And in the queen's chamber in the brain is where the pineal gland sits. And on the other side is the king's chamber where the pituitary gland sits.
Mm-hmm.
And the two glands hold entirely two different functions. The pituitary gland develops your maturity. As a man, it turns you masculine. As a woman, it turns you feminine. And from the queen's chamber, we are downloading through the interior gyrus in the brain the instructions from Big Mama in the queen's chamber. And if there's no occupier of the queen's chamber, your mama can't die. She got to stay here till you find somebody that match her energy or love for you, unconditional.
You're born again.
Right. And so the story of Earth, right? The story of Earth is a love story in the end. The love story is bringing the love back where the misery dwells.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to unravel the love story in real life, you have to unravel all of the mysteries of time, but we call them legends and tales. Right? When you unravel that, then you find yourself in the midst of the mystery system and you become the unsolved mystery. So if you can see if you can find the mystery, the answer revolves around your history. So quietly, I dropped this degree scientifically and realistically, said Raquel. The 18th letter, the R. You catch that?
Mm-hmm.
And 18 is 3 6s, by the way.
And 81 on the mirror flip.
Yeah, and 81 is 9.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you put all this shit together, you see that some people just needed a drop of blood in order to be creative as us. Mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The galactic family then came back to see that we accomplished the task they left us to do. We fought amongst each other, but I promise you this, we ain't even got to burn this bitch down, even if we piss. Because at the end of the day, after the anger and the rage, comes the understanding of the price that we paid.
Deep.
Right? Once you understand that the price you paid was for a better day, then you have paved the way for your children to see the motherfucking shit you suffer for. Mm-hmm. And as long as you don't do that, you ain't breaking no generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Breaking the generational curses is giving up all of the things that don't serve the greater good. And if each one teach one, we all gonna reach some. Right? And the more we reach, the better we can teach. And the better we can teach, the more we can reach. It's a reciprocal manifestation of real time, understanding the holographic nature of the board game of life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we understand that we take on new avatars when we wear this one out. But now we have the technological ability to expand the life of the avatar that we already had, but it was denied access by nefarious forces so that we can forever be under the perpetual ignorance of who we were.
Mm-hmm.
But the spell is broken and the gods is awakened. So when we put together the holographic universe in front of your face to show you piece by piece how it's assembled, who else has done that?
Right.
Get them motherfuckers, young elder. Bust them niggas in.
Hey, we got them niggas tonight, man. Hey, we about to get up out of here though, because I'm about to wind down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can take let's take 2 more questions.
I got you. Somebody said once dude was asking about the clock of destiny. How can
Charles Mosby Bay?
Yeah, it's like he said, how can you track? So can the clock of destiny help tracking reincarnation energy cycle?
When you understand what he's teaching in the clock of destiny, you'll know how to read the astrological time frames. Right? He's teaching you the fundamentals of astrology as it's applied from our ancient ancestors, and it's slightly different than what we call the modern astrology. So he's giving you ancient Kemetic science, but he's telling it in a modern format. The same with C. Freeman Neal. He's telling you metaphysics and applied metaphysics and how to use it in order to accelerate your ascension. But most of the people can't understand what C. Freeman Neal is talking about because the science is beyond what they used to experiencing, so they can't sit through the lectures to get what they need to get. He's talking too much over their head. And he's breaking it down simple, but you have to be a diligent student in order to pay attention. And that's why I'm a master student, not the master teacher.
I feel the same.
So I tell you what all my teachers showed me, and then I could put it all together so y'all can see what I see. And once y'all see what I see, y'all can't unsee this shit.
Right. We got one more for you, Brother Rod, before we get up out of here from the Sister Tiffany. Robot Chief Rod, can you please elaborate a little bit more on the Shu Tefnut resonance?
So we was under a flip grid that gave us a double positive masculine polarity on the earth. They call it a Shu Men resonance. If you look up the god Shu and you look up the god Men, they are 2 male deities. This is a violation of Earth's gender contract to allow men to rule, to be under a double male domination. Like right here, you see you got a north and a south magnetic pole. Right? We only use the north magnetic pole because we in the northern hemisphere. But just like you have calibrated north magnetic pole magnets, you also have calibrated south pole magnets too. So that when you're in the southern hemisphere, you can traverse the land using the southern point of reference, which is up. Right? So when you're looking at those lines coming out, that's the developing of the electromagnetic field. Now, if you look up Shu Tefnut, go to Google Images, put in Shu Tefnut.
Damn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I gotta restart computer.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So Shu Tefnut is Mother Earth and the moisture of the sky, and it's the meeting of the two under the 432 hertz is the earth frequency. The Schumann resonance is calibrated on a different frequency to give us a pitch, the wrong pitch, right? And if you get the wrong pitch, you'll never hit a home run.
That's right.
Now, when the Schumann resonance flip back correctly, it becomes the Shu Tefnut resonance, which is the proper frequency of the earth. When that's what they call the pole flip. Before, the whole crust would flip around on the earth. Right now, only the energy, because it's just Nibiru is going to pass just far enough not to flip the crust.
Okay.
But it's still going to pull on the electromagnetic field and cause the magnets to flip. And those frequencies that you see will be reoriented to the position they are now. South is up, north is down. Right? So all of the ones of us that had a north calibrated compass, it ain't going to work right. It's going to draw you to the south. So your north gonna be reading south on your compass because of the electromagnetic grid flip. And so when I'm talking about the Shu Teflon resonance, I'm talking about the ancient geographical physics of the Kemetic science, ancient Egypt, as they call it today.
Oh yeah, you put it down tonight, Rod. We're about to get up out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
We want to thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, we thank you for coming on, brother Rod. Let everyone know when you're ready to do the next one, man. We back. Man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Like every time the brother Rod come on, it's always a new level of information that I can take, that we all can take, and we can run with it, man. Take that and run with it, man. So, man, look, Islam, Hotep, Shalom. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, harmony. I should divine love throughout the violence universe too. Oh. We out this thing, man. All right, Rod. Hit me up, Rod.
All right, what do? Right? So we come, hey, bruh, you one of the chiefs on the land. I'm finna show you something. I need you to look at this problem and this solution and tell me if we need to put it in the public domain to present to the rest of the chiefs. Right? Mm-hmm. So I present the problem to you. I present the solution to you. I'll tell you why this is the only solution that'll work, and I'll show you the other solutions that I've examined to try to resolve the matter.
Right.
Right? So in the Holy Tablets, under leadership, it says a plan that's workable anywhere is workable everywhere. If the plan is not workable everywhere, it's not truly workable anywhere. Right? Because those similarly situated will solve the problem similarly. So that means that the Earthborn, if one of them find a solution out, it should work wherever you go. Right? And we the last ones left because the other people around the world that's been taking this information and exercising it, it worked. We ain't the only ones going through this process. The whole planet is. Right?
But Australia was on the forefront, right, with the Mwabi tribe?
Well, they was about their business. Some of the earliest ones to step up and start to exercise their sovereignty was Jamaica and Barbados. And that's why they announced that they was no longer under the jurisdiction of the Crown of England. And they said now they under the Republic. It's reverse engineering. It's going back out the same way you came in.
Right.
Now, once they establish the Republic is still not the people yet. It's the leadership speaking on behalf of the people.
Of the people, okay.
Right? And this goes back to Plato's Republic, which was part of the discourses that take place in Rome on government. So now when you go through the government's discourse on running government that goes back to Rome, and you get to Plato's Republic, and then you start looking at all of the philosophies of government trace back to Plato's Republic. So now the next thing you have to do, the next jump, is to go back to what we was before Plato's Republic. Right? And they call that the feudal state. The feudal state is predicated upon family groups making alliances across the land. Right? And then you got your tribal custom or your family tradition. I got mine. Right? This is how we know when our tribe people is born in another clan and they got to marry back into the home tribe. they got an affinity to go back to the motherfuckers that live their life how they know it. They was born in your clan, but they from my clan. Now, when they get old enough to marry, for some reason they marrying somebody in my clan as opposed to somebody in your clan. Right? So they got to still come home. But also, they bringing some of your genetic material over here into this clan, and this is how you prevent the birth defects. Right? We eternal beings. That means we don't never die. So we got to perpetually coming back in the reincarnation cycle as it's told in the story of Osiris. Right? And then we come in, and you come in levels. Right? In the time of plenty and bounty, you let the fuck ups come run shit because they got a lot of shit that they can fuck up. Without it having an eternal effect. Right? So you let the fuck ups, the newbies come in and get their practice in, but when they get totally fucked up like it is now you gotta call the baddest motherfuckers ever born to all come together like fucking Autobots to form the Optimus Prime motherfucker in order to fix the shit that all of the other kids came before and fucked it up.
Captain Planet type shit.
Right. So we call that the back to the beginning. You ever hear him say back to the drawing board? You got to restructure this shit, reformat it, put it in the format it's supposed to be in. It's gonna run how it's supposed to run. Right. This time, the going in and out of the Aquarian age into the going out of Piscean age to Aquarian age, you no longer are a fisher of men. What that makes you? Now you a hunter of birds.
That Jay you was talking about.
Yep.
That hook. That's why it was important during that, man. Yo, that's wild.
Right. Now, that hook, when you hunting birds, turns into a long barrel pistol that became a rifle. When you straighten that son of a bitch back out.
Now it's back to this. Okay.
So now you're not fishing in the water, you shooting in the sky. It's a complete flip of opposites, polar opposites, a pole flip, an energetic pole flip.
The birds. That would be us, fam. That would be the people.
Right. But in this case, when we talking about hunting the birds, we're not talking about like literally shooting them down. We talk about giving them the information. It's coming from under the water where you have to trust what you see blindly because you can't see underwater clearly. But when you flip to a bird's eye view, you can see from above what you couldn't see from under the depth. What was in your subconscious mind was the fish. But bring it to your conscious mind, and now they are birds, fins and feathers. Right? So once you get this alignment of information where you can see it, like looking through a needle. The only way a motherfucker getting through the eye of a needle, he got to be smaller than the eye of a needle. Not impossible. Depends on perspective. How did a rich man get through the eye of a needle? Get as far away from that motherfucker as he can. Then who's ever looking through the needle's eye sees the rich man clearly. The problem with that is he's in the crosshairs of a scope now. Everybody know who doing the dirt at that point. Ain't no more hiding that shit. So the rich man would rather his elephant or camel, depending on the culture you come from, walk past the motherfucker holding the needle without being seen than to be seen through the eye of the needle. Right? He don't physically go through it. But the perception sees through the needle, which brings the rich man into the scope's view.
I get what you're saying now. That's crazy. So essentially what you're saying is that old phrase that it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven. It's the same thing as, it's like trying to get through the eye of a needle. And that's what makes it complicated, is because he's putting himself in eyesight.
Right. He got to be seen to go through the eye. He can't go through the eye unseen. And once the rich man is seen as a hoarder of wealth, you have what I call now the Benny Hinn Creflo Dollar effect.
Creflo walking all that back.
Look, he ain't the only one.
he said ties is a lie. I was like, there you go.
He ain't the only one about to tell it all. See, they got to all take the piece that they the most guilty of doing for their redemption. Right? So, T.D. Jakes gave his ministry to his daughter because she is more upright than he is, and he noticed. The side effect to that is it's going to cause the disruption in the life of his other daughter, which you see him play out now. Right? Because she was the one who was supposed to have been the heir. But he made the righteous one the black sheep, which was thereby making the one who was supposed to be the heir lose her motherfucking kingdom because he treated the other one wrong. And it's in the treatment of the siblings. He should have treated them the same. You can't favor one of your children over the other. You can look at them differently, but you have to treat them equally. Right? And that's where he fucked up. So now the one he perceived as being the golden child, because she was the oldest, turned out to not be the golden child. The golden child was the second one because the deuces is the flip. Because Cain slew Abel. Abel didn't slew Cain. Right? And Cain was the oldest, so he lost the inheritance to all of the firstborn. So what would be an heir under the firstborn rule becomes the heir under the secondborn rule because Cain slew Abel. And Jacob tried to steal Esau's birthright.
Yep. Shit that man off.
And Esau is the ruddy red man. See that color? I'm just saying. So when you see these so-called Hebrew Israelites talking about the Edomites is pale-skinned Europeans, it's because they don't even know what the fuck they talking about. Flat don't know what they got a whole bunch of conjecture, but it doesn't mean what they think it do. And the only reason why they don't know what it means is because it's not for them to figure out the problem, or else they would have knew what it meant.
Right.
So Big Mama wanted somebody else to figure out the problem, so she let them chase their goddamn tail.
I think I ain't all the way, but damn near broke it all the way down from top to bottom what's going on.
That's hey, we go wherever the questions take me. You the mod on this motherfucker.
Yeah, they got questions. They definitely do. Now I know you passed this part, like you said, you were studying in the past, and you feel like the contract with it being dead, they don't have to honor any of this process.
No. I don't feel nothing about the contract.
Well, I haven't. Yeah.
Right. So the contract is expired. The reason it's expired is I closed the contract out on behalf of the people of the land because they never honored the treaty. I presented evidence to close the contract, the fact that every treaty has been complained about in open court. That means it's a public domain complaint that proves a prima facie case, meaning on the surface, off a clear first look, they obviously had no intentions on honoring any other treaties and had 400 years to do so. Since they didn't have any intentions of honoring any other treaties, I closed the contracts on behalf of the people. Not because I'm better than nobody or not because I'm smarter than nobody. I just knew what to do according to the law. And because I know what to do according to the law, in both jurisdictions, our original jurisdiction before they came and under their system, I know what I'm supposed to do. It becomes now my responsibility, even if I don't want it. I have to do it. To claim everything for the ones who is unaware, because ignorance is no excuse, right? So it worked both ways. If ignorance is no excuse of you keeping our wealth from us, then when I reclaim the wealth, the ignorance won't be no excuse for my people to get their shit back. Because they don't know they have the wealth, that you can't use that to call them imbeciles in law because I claim it on their behalf. That moves me into a trustee status.
Yeah, you're acting as
to the people. Right. So now I'm just speaking up on behalf of every one of us. I'm not just speaking up for me. That makes the problem because everybody that speaks up for us is murdered by niggas. Or locked up by the pale nations of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Taking out the picture pretty much.
Yep. Neutralized. That's what they call it.
They're doing it with all the celebrities who get a conscience and start dropping some of the info of what's going on. They go to jail and then come back a whole different person.
But it's codes. Now watch this. Biggie was Chief Sitting Bull who got caught at the post letting the enemies through without properly screening them. That's Chief Sitting Bull. Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace is Chief Sitting Bull. Chief Sitting Bull now has to be publicly flogged before the rest of the chiefs. Now it got to be one of the assassinated chiefs in past history that does it. So first off, fuck your bitch and the clique you claim. A public flogging,
right,
in front of all of the chiefs to see.
Right.
Okay, now what does that mean in our culture? That means that in order for us to know who got caught slipping, he gonna take his punishment like a man, and he ain't gonna say shit. What'd he do?
He ain't say shit.
He ain't say shit. He took that shit, right? He ain't the only one.
He said, "That's my boy." That's what he said. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, this how you know he's sitting bull. The last interview, he's sitting down. I think he was at the Rucker, and he was doing the interview on. I think it was either Yo MTV Raps or it was on, in the basement. One of the rap shows it was on. I think it was Yo MTV Raps. It was on. I think it was an MTV program. Okay, now he was sitting in the chair because he broke his leg in the car accident. Sitting Bull broke his leg when he fell off of a horse, or actually the horse carriage rolled over. And he had to walk with a stick because he had a pronounced limp. Mirror flip. Why in the fuck is Biggie not saying nothing to this nigga saying, fuck you and your wife? Motherfucker, I will be at your motherfucking head, right? Something else going on here. I got to look closer because it doesn't make sense to me. Right? Especially listening to the skill set. The skill set, he can handle it. He can come back.
Oh yeah, he would have ate parked up for sure.
But the culture says he can't say shit.
You got to take that.
He got to take this public flogging in order for the rest of the chiefs to know which one of these groups is behind it. They came in, Albert Pike, 32 Degrees, Scottish Rite, Freemason, Blackamoors, and Tony Moores. The Tony Moores' job was to hold the front line. What's the front line? It's the face of the company. And the Blackamoors' job was to mastermind the plot. Where did the mastermind be at? In the laboratory, behind the scenes, the war room, congregated. Now, once this happens, it makes you start asking, okay, well, who else? Right? I see somebody talking about they trying to kill me. What's up, Kulu? Big Mama told me to leave you alone. And she told me that you was doing that for a purpose. Saying what I said. You know, so I gotta, we gave me a wave, so I was sending him a shout out. Anyway, so now the problem that we all face with becomes clear if we can read our culture back before they brought this other shit over here. Right? So now in reading the culture, I'm seeing, okay, this other guy talking about he big baby Jesus, Osiris, big baby Jesus. Why is he doing this? Like, what is it? What is he meaning? Because he looks slightly off kilter. Chief Crazy Horse, Shinnecock,
ODB.
Yeah. Chief Crazy Horse is instrumental in fighting with Spanish, French, and English forces. Right? And Geronimo, who is Geronimo Pratt, GINDJAB. Right? When he said his name was GINDJAB, that right there tells me, because that is Geronimo in his indigenous tongue.
GINDJAB.
GINDJAB. So when I hear that, I know exactly which one of the chiefs he is. So now I'm listening to him. I'm watching his moves as a strategist. This tells me who 80% of the members of the Black Panther Party are. Once I get this in understanding of what's taking place on the land, and then now I can say, hey, family, look, this is how we get our shit back.
Just that
once I realize this, right? So once I realize it, well, I can't wait. All this shit time sensitive for the ones who know what to do have to execute. They don't wait on the rest of them. They'll figure it out when you get done doing the work, right? So July the 4th, the contract expired. July the 6th, I staked the claim. I exercises the blood right and the right. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told them on behalf of us. So let's say when I'm doing it, once I told you I did it, it's the same as if you did it in our culture. If you one of the chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to tell the people, the chiefs who is responsible for staking the claim that is currently living but not doing their job, and then I got to find out why they not doing their job. And then I got to tell the people who they are, so that they can demand that whatever system is parks in our community, whatever system parks in our community, there's always, if we go back to our culture and our traditions, our oral traditions, there's always a remedy for us to reclaim the land back. All we need is a jubilee year and a just cause. That's it. The only two things we need in order for us to reclaim what's ours. Now, leading up to the jubilee year, I got to inform as many people possible on the land, like motherfucking, what's the nigga riding on the horse talking about the British is coming,
Oh,
Paul Revere. I'm on some Paul Revere shit now. Them bitches is leaving. Them bitch motherfuckers is leaving. Right? So I'm spreading the word across to them. They got to fucking go. Wake up. They got to fucking go.
Right.
Right? So now, when they wake up and y'all see what's going on, some of y'all gonna say that nigga tripping. Some of y'all gonna say, let me see what he talking about. But the sisters gonna know the whole time. Yeah, as soon as Rod get done telling their ass, and if they listen, right? Every time one of the righteous sisters here, they say the same shit. All you gotta do is go back and look on my lives where I have guests on there. That resonates with me, what you be saying.
They do. It's in the subconscious though, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's resonating with them because they know something instinctually that men don't instinctually know. Big Mama gonna send somebody to make sure when her daughters ain't being treated right, that they get all they shit. And I just so happen to be the motherfucker they seeing. So when I'm not doing what Big Mama want me to do, I can't even get a 2 minute, I can't even get a, hey, how you doing out of sister. Period. But as soon as I figure out the problem, right? And then I follow the path that Big Mama and Mama laid for me, and they see me coming in, I got a different energy to them. Now they want to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now they want to say, good job. You did what Big Mama sent you to do. We proud of you. We see you. Right? But I'm still going to have to wrestle with some of the guys, because if I'm not performing in an area, somebody going to come and ruffle my feathers to make me get that part of the job done, because that's what Big Mama going to send somebody. She always do. That's why I don't be so quick to fly off the handle with my short temper no more. But I will get into the shits. But sometimes I got to get into the shits, right, in order for me to see what she's trying to show me.
Right. Yeah, because sometimes that's going to bring out the best in you.
Mm-hmm. Hold on 1 minute, because my sound went out.
All right. Oh, dang. Okay, we gotta get into some of these questions they dropping. There's some good ones in here.
Hold on. You know, let's say this here, and then we're gonna do a part 2 that's all Q&A with what you got in there.
Okay.
So tell me, right, because I gotta get my sound right.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I can hear you.
It came back?
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
Well, we can rock on out then. You got the questions already.
Oh, bet. So this one is from So Wavy Girl. This is why I asked you that. That's what's like. I know you feel like the contract's over, but people are still looking for remedy because they still got these quote unquote bills. So she's asking, why do they report? She's asking how to pay my light bill.
I made it where I didn't have any bills before I started my mission. So, you might get your lights cut off for a month. It might happen anyway.
Right.
Right.
The power go out.
No, serious. Look at what we gotta read. What's going on in real time? They're running out of diesel fuel. A lot of the electric producing facilities have diesel fuel generated generators as backups to whatever source they use, like hydroelectric or wind. They got backups that's made of diesel fuel. So if you get an overflow, the diesel fuel engine kicks on to add extra power to the local community. We're running out of diesel fuel. The reason we're running out of diesel fuel is because they are not making the detergents that allows the diesel fuels to be converted into fuel. And so we're going to experience that, but the sooner we separate from the system, the sooner we don't give a fuck about the system.
About paying bills.
A couple of streets over from me. And she is related to my childhood sweetheart. She her auntie. Right? So, Jackie Wilson, greatest R&B crooners of all time. And, but most of us don't know is he was a high-ranking chief on the land. And while he was doing music in the open and behind the scenes, he was making connections with other clans across the land. That's why they had to poison him in the end, get rid of him. So we all know what these motherfuckers is up to. But I sometimes listen to his daughter, and she a very, very potent oracle. And so I was sitting there listening to her today. She was vexing grievances about people that's mistreating her. And I was threatening her because they don't even know who this lady is. They stepping in some shit that they have no fucking clue what they stepping into, right? Like, this is a person that is one of the highly favored of the Most High. And I'm going to show y'all a picture of her so y'all know who I'm talking about with her dad. So this her here with Jackie. Right? Now, if you look at Jackie Wilson, you'll know an uncanny resemblance to Emmett Till. Right? So we talking family lines being tied across the land. Look at him. So one of y'all homework is to match Jackie Wilson face up with Emmett Till. So I already matched Emmett Till up with the other young man that got killed. I can't remember his name right now. He got killed by the police. But this lady right here, y'all don't, if y'all into that conjure shit, don't y'all send no shit to fucking with this lady. That's the worst thing in the fucking world to do on this land. She from the land, right? You could tell the way she talk, cause I be telling people, I be like, y'all be thinking we just be making shit up. Y'all call us crazy cause we sound country, but y'all be getting shit twisted. I'm gonna let y'all hear some of her words. 1101 on the knockback. She out cold. So my sister wanted me to put this on the floor, so I'm gonna let her say some stuff in her own words. Just listen to her.
Too, and you won't stop the shit or do a motherfucking thing about it, bitch. You can keep talking about me, I don't give a fuck, but now, bitch, I'm talking back. You clapping, bitch, I'm clapping back.
Clap to the clap back.
Not with a dislike of who you are and what you do, because I don't even fucking know you bitches. I don't watch y'all like that, and most of you have emojis anyway, so I can't really see who the fuck you are. I don't really care who you do, what you cook, who you screw. Business like that. I don't really fucking care. So I don't try to tell you what.
She talking about she don't get in other people's business like that because she don't care. That's our culture over here, right? The foreign culture, she finna identify the foreign culture and how the enemy's women act versus how the women on the land act. Well, like, we don't get, yep, Alexis, we don't get in other